Hello, how are you today? My name is Amanda Steele. I'm coming to you to talk to you a little bit about living with narcolepsy. Tell you a little bit about myself before we actually get into the things that can help you. Um, I am now 37 years old. I was diagnosed with narcolepsy when I was 6. I live in York County, Pennsylvania, so the closest place that used to deal with that was Johns Hopkins Hospital. And how my family realized I had it was when I was in preschool and kindergarten. When we would come in from recess, we'd take a nap, and I would deal with not getting up from the nap until it was time to actually get on the school bus. And my teacher, she didn't really say much until I got to first grade. In first grade, my teacher then decided that something was wrong. I was sleeping halfway through the school day, and she would write my mom a note saying, you need to put your daughter to bed earlier. What my mom then did was she says, I can't. She goes to bed at 5 o'clock as it is. So after all of that, they sent me for testing for a sleep study. I came back having narcolepsy, and being the youngest case that Johns Hopkins had seen at that point in time. We're talking about like 1987 here. So at that time, my mother didn't want to put me on stimulants because she didn't want me to be dependent on the stimulants for the rest of my life. I probably made it through school and everything until about 16, and then I was having problems with being able to have a job and function and go to school and function and stuff that you would like to do as a teenager. I was sleeping my way through it. So that was around the time when we went back to doctors and learned that, I think it's funny when you look different things up, because I'm sure there's probably different types of narcolepsy. But where my narcolepsy is obviously it's neurological, and it is because I don't have a chemical in my brain that breaks my body down to do the 5 stages of sleep. So I go deep into the deep sleep, and then I wake up feeling like my body had never slept at all. And there's lots of different, things that are symptoms of it. Myself, and I guess 70% of Americans who have narcolepsy also suffer from something called cataplexy. Cataplexy is a disease where that goes hand in hand with narcolepsy, and what it does is it makes you fall limp. So when I show any kind of extreme emotion, whether it be crying or laughing, I fall over and can't control my muscles or my body. And it's almost like you're in a shell. It's almost like you feel like you're not breathing. You're falling limp. And it usually will go away in a minute or two. I know my fiance at the time freaks out when I go into those spells, and he always wants to comfort me or shake me or whatever. But what you'll realize is that if they don't do any of that and just give you time, you will come out of it and you will come back too. It can be kind of draining on your energy and stuff like that. So. But like I said, when you look up different things about narcolepsy, this one, I think I find it humor in it, being that I've lived with this disease for 31 years now. The one thing I found was that it says it's a condition characterized by an extreme tendency to fall asleep when relaxed. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't always have to be relaxed to fall asleep. Yes, usually sitting. I have fallen asleep standing up, but usually it's something that you tend to do when you're sitting. That's why a lot of us don't drive, or a lot of us have issues with having an office job where you're sitting, because when you're up and you're moving, your tendency to fall asleep isn't as outweighed as it would be if you were sitting. Okay, but you don't have to be relaxed to fall asleep. It's a condition in which you can't control, and I think that's another thing that people they have trouble understanding, is that it's something that you can't control. It's just an overwhelming feeling, like you don't ever feel like you have gotten enough sleep. You always feel at any minute like you could fall asleep. You always feel like you're tired. Your body just never feels rejuvenated. I know the 5-hour energy drinks that people like so much. I could take 2 of them, maybe feel some energy off of it for an hour, and then take a nap. My body isn't like everybody's body, and I've realized that a long time ago. But realizing that there's certain things that you can do to get to know your body better and cope with whatever you're dealing with is the first key.